Happy Wednesday, everybody. Just out here in the garden taking a look at some of the hops. I pulled off the hoop house cover as we're anticipating some rain. Just wanted to let that air out a little bit, get some of this moisture that's about to roll in. And it's looking like it should be a pretty good season so far. These hops especially are looking significantly better than last year. This is going to be, I believe, Centennial on this end of the bed, the south end of the bed, and then Cascade on the northern end. But this is their third year. So I think right around year 3 is when they should start to produce pretty well. Time will tell. Just doing a little bit of weeding over here on the west raised bed. Nice calendula popping up here with some volunteer tomatoes. You know, one thing I was always concerned about with the raised beds being essentially right underneath all these trees. The sunlight doesn't really affect it much, but they do get a lot of growth. Like you can see this little sprout. But the mulch ultimately creates this barrier. You can see, I mean, that's a good at least 2 inches where the plant is then forced to stretch and becomes leggy, and that allows us to then come through and weed the bed with a much easier level of effort. The clover loves this hoop house, as do the tomato volunteers. You can see here. I have no idea what these are. This bed was all volunteers, except for maybe a couple plants last season, which means probably be pretty good hodgepodge of variety. It's another one that was just coming up from underneath the lip here, looking real nice, considering it's not even May. And that sprouted without any intervention or effort on my part. Some more calendula. Slightly surprised to only see, it looks like this is the lone volunteer calendula at this point. That may change over the coming weeks, but I still do have some seeds, so I'm not too worried about getting this bed populated. I haven't sown any seeds in that bed yet, just the calendula here in the west bed. There's a little bit of damage sustained to the volunteer tomatoes in this bed from recent frost, but yet another benefit from the mulch. It looks like, I don't know if I'll be able to spot any right now, but the little clusters of sprouts that had come up from last year's tomatoes look like they've been insulated by the mulch, protect a little bit from that frost. Let's see, I think there's maybe a couple volunteers that managed to escape. Aside from that, the rest of the area is looking pretty bare at this point, but I anticipate sowing some seeds today in preparation for this incoming rain. Kind of like the official start of the season, I'd say. As janky as that looks, it's functional, so don't judge me. Hope you all are having a great week. The weather is turning in your area for the better, and the growing season commences. It's Kenna. Hey, sweetie. What you doing over there? Hey, sweetie. Hi. Peace.